So this lady is heading home and it's about a 20-minute drive, and she drives this drive every single time she comes to work. She sometimes takes the interstate, but they are having road construction, so she's opted out and she started taking the highway. It's just a 2-lane highway. So she's driving and she's singing at the top of her lungs and the radio's playing, and all of a sudden her radio just cuts out and starts getting really, really static and then just shuts off. So she's like looking at her radio and she's like, well, that's kind of funny. And then she notices the air starts to feel really different. So she looks at her windshield and all of a sudden the road looks different. The houses that are normally not there, there's different houses. It looks really, really strange. And these houses aren't like new houses. These are really old houses and they're not in bad shape. They're just houses you don't see around. They kind of look like Laura Ingalls houses. And there's a few of them on the side of the road, and she's now on a dirt road instead of this highway. And she's driving and she's like, this is really strange. Like, how did I get off this road? Where am I? Like, this is the same path I take every day. And all of a sudden she's driving and she sees a older gentleman and a lady on the porch. And the older man is just staring at her. And he taps his wife and starts pointing at this lady who's now driving by their house. And she just looks and goes and puts her hand over her mouth. And the lady driving the Tahoe's just like, this is so strange. Like, these people look like they're from like the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s. She's like, this is so weird. She keeps driving and all of a sudden her radio clicks back on and then everything's back to normal. She has no idea what happened, no idea where these houses just went that were just from Laura Ingalls, now out in front of her. Now she's back on a 2-lane highway. There's no Amish communities around by where she's at. There's no people like what she saw that live in her area. And she drives this drive every single day that she goes to work. So I don't know if she had a time traveling experience or a glitch or something, but that was strange. And she is like, I don't know how to explain to people what happened because that was strange. Let's discuss another time slip video that is very strange. So in 2018, this man is getting ready to go walk his dogs, and he's walking them towards like a churchyard area, and he starts walking that way and he sees a 1970s Rover 3500. It's brown, and he's like, wow, that car is in really, really good shape. Like, he could not believe how immaculate this car looked for being as old as it was. So of course he naturally starts like walking towards it because it's just a really cool old car that you don't see very often anymore. And as soon as he walks up to it, he sees there are people in this car. So he walks up to it, and next thing you know, he starts feeling really weird. He gets this like really uneasy feeling, and he walks closer and he sees there is a man sitting in the driver's side, and he just is staring out the front window, like not looking at this guy who's walking up to him in the car, just staring, almost like he's staring right through this guy. And so he kind of looks at him, you know, sees like if he's okay or whatever. And this guy is dressed like super vintage. Like, he's got a big collared jacket on, and he's got like shaggy dark hair and a big mustache and gold rimmed glasses. Like, not super out of character, but like, we don't see a lot of people dressed like that in 2018. Then he looks over and he sees there's a woman in the car with him, and her face looks wild. Like, she is a blonde and she's got a white jumper on, but her eyes and her mouth are just like she's seeing something and she's in shock. Like, her eyes are wide and her mouth is open, like as if she's like almost on the verge of screaming, but like just in staring. He also noted that there was a kid in the back, but couldn't really like get really good detail on what the child looked like. So he was just like, this is kind of weird. I don't know what's going on. So he just started walking and kept walking his dogs. And about an hour later, he walks back around this church to head home, and that car is still sitting there, and it has not moved. And the people in it have not moved. Like, he walked up to him and was looking around. This guy is still looking straight out his window. And the girl is still eyes big, mouth open, just in total shock. As if like just nothing had stopped or changed in that whole hour. Like they just stayed there the entire time. So he once again got a really uneasy feeling and just walked off. And to this day, he's like, I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was a time glitch. I don't know if these people were here from the future and just in total shock of what they saw. Very, very strange. What are your thoughts?